Maya, 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 Maya,
Alo? Salut! Sunt eu, un haiduc și te rog, iubirea mea, primește fericirea. Alo? Alo? Sunt eu, Picasso, ți-am dat bip și sunt voinic, dar să știi, nu-ți cer nimic. Vrei să pleci, dar numai ei, numai ei, numai ei, chipul tău.
Uncle Travelling March reporting live from the Chisinau hotel room again, on another day of our grand trip through Greater Romania, and this time it was our first full day in Moldova, and it was not the most successful of days. The idea was we booked ourselves on a tour at the Cricova Winery, which is like, I think it's either the biggest or the second biggest in the world, and it's got 100 kilometers of tunnels full of barrels or bottles of wine. And Alex Jacobi had recommended it. Apparently Yuri Gagarin once got lost in there for 2 days, and we've been to lots of Yuri Gagarin themed stuff before, so why not this? So that was the idea, but we were knackered from the night before, didn't set the alarm. We were a bit stupid because I woke up at 12 and I'm like, oh my god, we've only got an hour to get there, and it's about 15k out of town. Had no Moldova money, so got across to the hypermarket across the road. Had to find a change bureau, which was easier than done because it was shoved up a corner. But we found the change bureau thanks to a lady in the bookshop helping us, and then the lady in the change bureau helped us order a taxi and grabbed a coffee and croissant quickly from a nearby coffee shop while waiting for the taxi. And we then sped off to the Cricova Winery, except we didn't speed off because the traffic was horrendous. And we got there half an hour late. And they're like, well, the tour's already gone. I'm like, can't we catch up? And they're like, no, the next one is 5 o'clock. And, you know, this was 1:30. So we're like, oh, what do we do? So the idea was, we thought, well, why don't we go to a sauna? Because there was meant to be several in the village. And, you know, chill out for a couple of hours, relax, and then go on the 5 o'clock tour. So we booked on the 5 o'clock tour. Got a taxi into the village where they ripped us off completely, charged us £4 for us, about a mile. And then we got to this hotel where the sauna was, or meant to have been, and they were like, well, yeah, we do have a sauna, but it'll take 2 hours to warm up. I'm like, well, by that time, it's time for us to get back down to Cricova Winery. They're like, well, you can use the swimming pool, but it's 275 Moldovan lei, which is about 15 quid. So we're like, 15 quid for a swimming pool? Don't think so. So we did a bit of a Baldwin bankrupt thing, and we wandered through the town of Cricova. And it, you know, once you were away from the tourist stuff, it really was like proper old Soviet. We went into this wonderful like shop where there was an old lady who spoke Russian, and we bought some bottled water off her. Not that any of her fridges worked, so it wasn't very cold bottled water. But what was interesting is that Moldova is meant to be a predominantly Romanian-speaking country, and yet everybody seems to speak Russian as their first language, but they all speak Romanian as well. We went into the centre of the town, we went to the supermarket, had a wander around there, and then we had like a burger from this like fast food place in the centre, wandered through the park and down to the winery, where we then had a cup of tea in the winery cafe, which is a lot more expensive than in town, and there was a table full of very, very, very drunk Germans next to us who were just downing bottles of wine. According to Thomas, their accent was very good, so they were probably very posh Germans. But anyway, that was that. And then we got on our tour. there were two tours operating at the same time, a Romanian language tour, which had the majority of the people on, and the English tour, where there was about 10 of us on it. And we went on this tour of the Cricova Winery, and it was very interesting. We got on a little, like, kind of golf buggy thing and went through all these tunnels. It used to be a limestone mine, and I believe the outer reaches are still mined for limestone. The Soviets, it was always apparently a wine-producing region. But the Soviets, when they took over, they bumped up production massively. I think 1 in 3 glasses of wine in the entire Soviet Union was made in Moldova. And so it was basically 5-year plan stuff. They needed a massive wine storage area, and they thought, oh, why don't we use these old mines? So they did, and that's how the Cricova story started. I think it was 1952 it began, and it was, like premier winery of the Soviet Union. According to the tour guide, because I did ask, production was very high in the Soviet time. It dropped in the 90s, but it was kept open basically because of the name, because there were certain celebrities that visited, and then these days it's back up to Soviet levels. So there we are. And we tried we went into a cinema in there, and we tried a champagne, or one of they're not allowed to call them champagne, but a sparkling white wine. And then we looked at the process and the bottling and everything, and then we'd paid a little extra. And so at the end, Thomas and I and 4 Americans who'd also paid extra, we did the proper tasting, and there was another champagne type one, a white, a red, and a rosé with some nuts and biscuits. And the Americans, they were all interesting. They were from LA, and they were all in the Every Passport Stamp group on Facebook, which I am also in. So we knew some of the same people, and we talked about kind of stamp collecting as a travel aim. And yeah, that's what they were doing. They were there because it is an obscure country. And so we had a very good time. The end problem is it was cut short of it. The guy said we had to leave after a while, which is a shame, but we did manage to get through all the wine. And then, very luckily, we said goodbye to the Americans. They had their own car, walking up the hill, and the bus back to Chisinau was just pulling in. So we waved at it, and they stopped for us, and we got on the bus and went straight back to Chisinau. And still with the pleasant winey haze, we spied a Georgian restaurant, and Tom had never eaten Georgian food before in his life. So we went to this Georgian restaurant and had some amazing Georgian cuisine, khinkali, khachapuri, I think it's called. Some wonderful, wonderful, I love Georgian food. To me, it's the best food of the Caucasus. So Thomas is trying khinkali for the first time. What do we think?
Это грузинский еда.
Грузинский
еда очень вкусная.
And there was also a singer there, and she did requests, and she took a request from Tom. And then we walked through the night, through the Chisinau night, back to the apartment. I'm in the hotel now. And Thomas has gone out clubbing for the first time in his life, because I don't know whether they'll let him in, not being of age, but we shall see. That is the end of my report for today. It's me, Uncle Travelling Matt, saying, as always,
Chipul tău și dragostea din tei Mi-amintesc de ochii tăi Vrei să pleci, dar numai ei Numai ei Numai ei Chipul tău și dragostea din tei Mi-amintesc de ochii tăi
Te sun, să-ți spun ce simt acum. Alo, iubirea mea, sunt eu, fericirea